So, what if we could actually teach a computer how to untangle things? From these incredibly complex mathematical knots to the paths of swarming robots. Well, there's a new computational tool that's doing exactly that. It literally teaches shapes how to get out of each other's way. And it's called repulsive shape optimization.
Okay, we've all been there, right? You reach into your pocket for your headphones, and what you pull out is this knotted mess that just seems to defy all laws of physics. It's one of those universal frustrations. But what if I told you that this one, simple, annoying problem is actually a window into a massive challenge in the digital world?
Because honestly, this isn't just about headphones. Unwanted tangles and intersections are a total plague in the world of computing. They're the reason our drawings get messy when we're just trying to make smooth curves. They cause complicated 3D prints to fail spectacularly. They can make data visualizations completely unreadable, and, get this, they can even cause robots to literally crash into each other. It is a huge problem, and it shows up everywhere.
So this all leads to a really fundamental question. How can we program a computer to truly understand what a tangle even is? How do we teach it to automatically arrange any collection of shapes so that they're all perfectly spaced out and, this is the crucial part, so they never run into each other?
Now you're probably thinking, wait, isn't this easy? Just tell the computer to push everything apart? And yeah, it seems like the most obvious answer in the world. But when you're dealing with really complex things, like curves or surfaces, that simple idea just completely falls apart. Let's dig into exactly why.
The intuitive approach, the first thing you'd probably try is to borrow an idea from physics, electrostatic repulsion. Just imagine that every single point on this curve is a tiny particle, and they all have a positive electric charge. Since like charges repel, every point would naturally just push every other point away. Sounds like a perfect recipe for untangling, doesn't it?
Well, not quite. When you actually try this with a continuous curve, something really weird happens. The computer spends almost all of its energy, all of its effort, on the strongest repulsive forces. And where are those? They're between points that are immediate neighbors, the points right next to each other along the curve. The whole system basically becomes obsessed with trying to rip the curve apart at the seams. It gets so focused on those tiny forces between neighbors that it completely loses sight of the bigger picture, the actual tangle we want to fix.
As the researchers who figured this out put it, the place where the curve nearly crosses itself, it's just a tiny little bump in the total energy calculation. The computer barely even notices it. So yeah, clearly we need a much smarter way to think about this.
And this is where the real breakthroughs start to happen. The researchers came up with this really powerful two-part solution. First, a much smarter way to measure repulsion, and second, a far more efficient way to actually apply it. Let's check out the first part.
Okay, so innovation number one is a completely new way of thinking about the problem. It's an energy model that is intelligent enough to see the tangles that we as humans want to solve, and smart enough to ignore everything else.
It's called tangent point energy, and the logic behind it is actually pretty simple but so powerful. Think of it like this. Imagine two parts of a winding road. If you're driving along it, they're miles apart, but one is on an overpass directly above the other. That's where this algorithm focuses. It ignores the car directly in front of you, but it applies a massive repulsive force between those 2 points that are spatially close but far apart along the path. This is what lets it focus the computer's attention only on the spots that are about to self-intersect.
Okay, so now we have the right kind of force, but applying that force efficiently is a whole other challenge. And that brings us to the second key innovation, a fundamentally better way to optimize the shape.
See, standard optimization methods are kind of like trying to solve a huge traffic jam by telling one car at a time to just move forward an inch. It's incredibly slow, it's super localized, you're only focused on the 2 points that are practically touching. This new method, though, uses a technique called Sobolev preconditioning. And it's like having a traffic controller in a helicopter. It sees the entire shape, the whole traffic jam, and it smoothly moves everything all at once to fix the problem globally and extremely quickly.
Okay, so we have a smart energy and a fast optimizer. So what? I mean, why does any of this actually matter? Well, this is where it gets really, really cool. This combination unlocks the ability to automatically untangle our digital world in ways that we've just never seen before.
First up, mathematical knots. For mathematicians, proving that a really complex knot can even be untangled is a notoriously difficult problem. But with this method, the computer can take an impossibly tangled up knot and just smoothly, automatically find its simplest untangled form. It's basically a visual proof.
Or what about robotics? Instead of just planning paths that barely avoid collisions, you can optimize the entire set of paths for a whole group of robots moving through space and time. And the result is this beautiful ballet, where the robots not only never collide, but they actively try to stay as far away from each other as possible at all times.
The applications even get into bio-inspired design. Think about creating artificial tissues that need a dense network of vessels to deliver nutrients. This tool can design an optimal, non-intersecting network just like that. Or it could be used to design the complex, twisted arrangements of fibers you'd need to build powerful artificial muscles.
It also solves all kinds of packing problems. Like, how does a cell coil a very, very long strand of DNA into a tiny volume without it jamming up? Or for manufacturing, how do you plan the most efficient path for a milling machine to cover a complex surface without wasting any motion? This repulsive force just naturally finds these elegant solutions.
And maybe the most mind-bending part of all of this is that it lets us visualize mathematical ideas that used to be trapped in these static, hard-to-understand diagrams. We can now create these smooth animations of one shape transforming into another, proving it's possible to, say, unlink a pair of handcuffs without breaking them, or even turn a surface completely inside out, all without any self-intersections.
So the key takeaway here is pretty amazing. We've gone from a simple, everyday frustration with headphones to a powerful new tool for shaping our digital and even our physical world, which really leaves us with a fascinating final question. Now that we finally have a way to teach computers to intuitively avoid tangles, what in the world should we build next?